I always start from what's going on with consumers, because media is always going to follow what consumers do. And retail media is booming all around the world. So retail media sales are going to reach about 1.3 trillion this year in North America, a trillion in the EU, and almost 4 trillion in Asia Pacific, right? So it's become a huge industry with total worldwide expected sales of about 6 trillion this year. And the thing about that is that on the media side, we're always going to be constrained by the capabilities that media sellers are bringing to bear. And media sellers have started to catch up to what advertiser expectations are. And that's how we're able to see retail media growing at about 20% year over year, even though e-commerce sales are growing at about 8% year over year.
With growth come challenges. What is holding up some of the progress?
Yeah, so it's a rapidly evolving space, which also means that it's not a fully mature space. I do want to talk about things that we're doing, but I don't want to make it sound like we're the only people doing good work in this space. For example, the MRC and the IAB put out retail media measurement guidelines back in February of this year. That's a great example of cross-industry efforts to advance retail media to meet advertiser needs. But one thing that we've been contributing to this space is via our Council on Accountability and Standards in Advertising, or CASA initiative. This has been running for a number of years, and we periodically add branches to deal with important media areas. And so last year, we added a branch to cover retail media. There are a lot of aspects to it, but I want to touch on a couple. Among them are improvements in delivery transparency and also transparency around how ad auctions are being conducted in the retail media space. We've actually taken a leadership position in that, so we've been working with the MRC and a coalition of other industry bodies since November of last year, actually. And we've launched an auction standards working group. I'm the chairman of the steering committee, and we have more than 100 organizations from all around the industry and all around the world participating. We're expecting that a final standard, which has guidelines for disclosures around ad auctions and also how they're going to be conducted, will be issued sometime in the first half of next year. And with a multinational selection of organizations, including the China Media Assessment Council participating, we're expecting that this is going to be a de facto worldwide standard for how ad auctions are disclosed.
Wow, that's really interesting, actually. So how is AI transforming the way advertisers are approaching retail media? Is there enough accountability?
Yeah, so when we talk about advertising applications for AI, I focus on a couple of big buckets. So one of them is the use of AI buying agents, and that's another area where we've expanded our CASA program this year. We launched AI buying agents around Adweek, so it's pretty fresh in terms of us talking about it. But the idea is that if we're going to have these software agents working on behalf of advertisers with a much higher degree of autonomy than has been the case in the past, how buying systems used to work, then we need to have a North Star for what type of disclosures and controls are made available to advertisers so that they can feel confident that these systems are working in their best interests and not playing both sides. And in a retail media context, technologies that were pioneered at companies like Google and Meta with PMax and Advantage Plus are now expanding to big retail media sellers. And so we want to make sure that as that happens, we can influence the development of these products along the lines that are most beneficial to advertisers.
Can you share some best practices for consumer-centric, privacy-first strategies?
Yeah, so we could spend hours talking about consumer-first, privacy-centric strategies. So I'll just touch on something that I think is under-discussed. So there's a technological element to it, of course, and we talk about using PII in a privacy-safe way, and we talk about technologies like data clean rooms. Omnicom has great offerings in that space. But what's interesting is that while those technologies are available globally and mostly work the same everywhere, the regulatory aspects are not consistent globally, and they're much more complex than most people realize. So while most people know about things like GDPR in the EU and some of the state-level privacy regulations like CCPA here in the US, a lot of people don't know that India just implemented a comprehensive privacy law last year. And now 75% of the world's population is living in countries with some form of a comprehensive privacy law. And so we think that as important as the awesome new technologies are, and we try to be out at the forefront in terms of bringing those capabilities to bear for our clients' benefit, making sure that you're buttoned up on the regulatory side is just as important. We have a practice to counsel clients on that led out of our Analect group.
And where are we at with CTV innovation in the retail space?
I think it's early days for CTV innovation in the retail space.
Do you want to try that again? What that would look?
Yeah, I will. I just wanted to
Yeah.
check my notes here.
That's okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think we're still in the early days for CTV in the retail media space. And I'll name a few things to look out for over the next couple of years as the space continues to mature. So one is going to be auction-based transactions for most CTV media in retail media. Another is going to be more seamless integration with the retail touchpoints themselves, basically a greater penetration of interactive ads and fewer old school non-interactive ads running in retail media CTV environments. And finally, wide availability of incrementality testing. That's part of our CASA framework. It's something that we push on hard because to roll out true incrementality testing, you need to have support on the media seller side, at least if you want to do it in the most accurate way possible. So these are all developments that we're pushing for, and we're seeing positive signs from our partners.